So one thing you may notice here is every week or two we release a fast track clients experience and they have so many lessons and so much wisdom to share. These are fast track clients who are absolutely crushing it, making their passive income, building their DeFi portfolios. And we want to share some words of wisdom from them to you. We do see Fast Track as a collaborative effort, and there is so much value shared on these mastermind calls. And I mean, clients are so freaking amazing that we wanted to share their experience with you. So, without further ado, check out this week's Fast Track Client Spotlight.
Yeah. So look, realistically, we just want to gather some feedback and kind of, hear a little bit about your experience at FastTrack. So, yeah, I mean, but before you joined FastTrack, what was your experience of DeFi like? And, what kind of motivated you to want to jump into FastTrack?
Yeah, so let's see. I got into crypto, 2017, 2018. I happened to get into a couple projects that did well for me. And I liked crypto, but I was just kind of a buy and hold guy. And then, it turned into realizing that, you can buy these riskier assets because they have potential of doing much higher X's than,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say, holding Bitcoin. So if you just hold Bitcoin, for that to double, it would have to, whatever price that is, has to go up pretty high to double. Whereas you could buy one of these low market cap coins, and for the price to double, it really doesn't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the problem is by holding all those dgen coins,
Mm-hmm.
I'm now kind of realizing that it's essentially I'm no better than the dude that gets his paycheck and runs down to the local gas station and buys a bunch of scratch off tickets, right? And I see that
Mm-hmm.
dude, I'm like, dude, you're wasting your money. Like, why are you scratching it, right? But he thinks that he's going to hit it. And the truth is I was doing the exact same thing with crypto, and the problem is it was I bought a scratch off ticket and I hit it. So then I had this mindset of like, okay, the more scratch
Mm-hmm.
off tickets I buy, I'm bound to hit one of these. And the truth is, in crypto, I only need to hit one, so, or even two. So if I buy like 100 and I get two hit, it'll be worth everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened is at some point in time, I paid for a guy that just knew more about crypto than me, because in my circle, I don't. I'm the only dude doing crypto, so I don't have
Yeah.
anybody to talk to about
Mm-hmm.
crypto. It's just what I find on like YouTube and outside of that. But I found a guy, and we were just talking through stuff, and he's like, "Man, have you looked into this whole liquidity providing?" And it was on uh,
Mm-hmm.
again one of these degen plays, but it was two different crypto assets that were tightly correlated.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave me all of like an LP education in the matter of like 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and which again isn't that long. And it's like, oh, but here you need to go research, impermanent loss, and you got to research this and you got to research that. And so I just quickly just opened a position because I'm a guy that takes action, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'll go figure out the rest kind of later. And it did fine. It was printing fees, but then I was locking in losses because I was doing 50-50 rebalances every time it went down. And I
Mm-hmm.
just literally watched, some balance go down to, kind of next to nothing. So as it was going down, I was like, dude, hold on, there's something. Okay, I need to start paying attention to what's going on. So I started searching all of YouTube to try to start finding the answers. And Lucas's videos just kept popping up, and I,
Mm-hmm.
I kept digging into his. I like what he was saying, some of his mindset stuff. And I know from the past that like the amount of time I would spend on YouTube to try to find all these answers all scattered out, right? I could watch probably an hour video for the 2 minutes of actual diamonds that I'm actually looking for, and
Yeah.
trying to paste all this together. It's like, oh my gosh, this will take forever. So anyways, I liked what you guys were offering, and I did
Mm-hmm.
have my first call with one of you guys. And the truth is I was, again, you guys have built a community around this, and again, it was just all that information that again I could go find free, but the amount of time I would spend,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
even then, I still wouldn't be able to talk to anybody about it, right? Or, the market is so fluid that like we have to be on top of it. Um, and I don't know if that would have been really hard to just do on my own through YouTube.
Hmm.
So I paid for the education. Uh, in hindsight, I should have probably been a little bit more aggressive with my coaching calls because that 12 weeks really flies by.
Yeah.
So that would be a recommendation to somebody that does sign up, because
Hmm.
even and the problem is like you get into it and like you start getting things going, and then you're like, well, I don't need a coaching call because I don't really have any questions right now. But that's a foolish mindset that I had, because the truth is there's all the questions that I don't even know to ask. So if I would have still had my coaching call, even if I didn't think that I had a question, they're
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and address things that I wouldn't even have known that I actually had.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
instead, I had the mindset of like, well, I kind of have this figured out right now, so I don't have any questions. Let me hold this
Hmm.
coaching call until there is an opportunity where I do have questions. But then
Hmm.
what will happen is by the time that's done, you've already burned up your 12 weeks and
Hmm.
you lost your coaching sessions. So
Yeah.
I would encourage anybody that is new to this to step in and actually, whether you think you've got a question or not, go meet with your coach, because
Hmm.
they're gonna pull value. They're gonna be a value add, whether even if you're in a position where you don't think that there is any value add at that moment, because by the time you get there, yeah, your coaching sessions will be done, and then you will have questions, or something else will arise out of that. So that's that. So what I did
Yeah.
is, in my first coaching call, or second, it was all about kind of like putting together my portfolio, and that was actually healthy for me to take a view of actually my own holdings. And it was a good realization that, yeah, I had a freaking, I had hundreds of scratch off tickets in my
Hmm.
pocket. And it's like, wait a second, this is let's why don't we move into stuff that's more stable, less volatile, and then to be able to be earning fees on that even while it goes up or down. Like, anyways, that has so I started getting rid of scratch off tickets and putting it in, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, I've always believed in Bitcoin and Ethereum. My
Hmm.
whole mindset was, oh, well, like for instance, we'll call Bitcoin 100K, right? So like for it to double, it's got to go to 200K. My scratch off ticket only would need to go like to 5 zeros and a two to double. So like I've got, and then my idea was, oh, at the top of the bull run, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll take all those scratch off tickets and then I'll convert it into Bitcoin, right? But
Yeah.
and then I'll have a bigger position. And then the next cycle, I won't need to be as risky or as ballsy as I was in this current cycle. But that's also us telling our own self lies, right? And hoping that you're going to be able to time the market and get out of something. So I was in like
Yeah.
super high volatile stuff, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. If I actually lost all this stuff right now, like, would I be happy? And no, I'd be pretty bummed. So let me go ahead and start siphoning some of this high degen plays and put it in more stable assets. So that was a good, it was kind of embarrassing to show my portfolio and how maybe risky I was, but it allowed
Hmm.
me to move some positions over to stable. I'm still trying to, whenever I can, just kind of take a little bit of uh, you know liquidity off the top and move it into some more stable assets. But then
Hmm.
to go ahead and have this where, I mean, gee whiz, you start looking at like 5% a month. Like, I'll sell my entire portfolio right now if I can get a stable 5%. Like, I'll do that the rest of my life, and I don't even care if overall value actually goes up, because like that would be just fine for me. Now I know people are in different places where they want to grow their bags, and I get that. And I think that this also gives you the ability as well, because if you're not looking for cash flow for the 5% to, like, say, live off of, well, you take that 5% and then you go play the dgen market with these 5% that you're
Yeah.
getting off of your stable stuff, opposed to doing it ass backwards.
Yeah. And with the scaling up of your portfolio since joining FastTrack, what have you been able to achieve, I guess, in terms of what you've scaled it up to, and maybe the type of fees you've been able to generate?
Yeah, so in a short amount of time, I scaled it up pretty decent, and since joining, I've actually earned $23,572 in fees.
Amazing. Amazing. And you're coming towards the end of your first initial stint in the FastTrack. If someone was considering joining, or if they were on the fence, what would you say to them, and how would you, maybe using some anecdotes from your own experience, what would you say to someone who's considering it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the truth is I would tell people that, like, they need to be serious about this, right? Like this is not like, obviously it's not like a get rich quick scheme. Like, this is an education platform.
Mhm.
And if you're not serious about getting educated, you're just going to waste your money. Like,
Mhm.
like, if you're not going to take action and actually apply yourself and learn the videos, and the truth is it can be overwhelming to
Mhm.
all of a sudden log in to, you know this education, and you've got the past, what, 3 years of Zoom videos that you could, like, but it's about just jumping in where you're at. Maybe if you've got some extra time, you can do a couple past videos, but you guys do a really good job of always doing refreshers, so that it doesn't matter at what point in
Mhm.
time. You just need to jump in and they will get you up to speed, because they're forever doing these refreshers, because they always know that there's new people there. So it's truly about taking this. If you're trying to run DeFi as a business,
Mhm.
you need to treat it like a business. And
Yeah.
you can't run a business putting 30 minutes a week in on anything.
Mhm.
And if that's what you're looking for, this isn't right. Like, and again, this isn't a 40-hour week job, right? But it does take some commitment. And the most important thing for me was to stay on top of these 3 mastermind Zoom calls a week,
Mhm.
and really paying attention to the information.
Yeah.
I actually don't really do them live, because the problem is it's such good information. I'm better at listening to the recording as soon as it's put out, because I pause it, rewind it, pause
Mhm.
it, go forward, and I have to take it at my own speed, because if I
Yeah.
do it live, I'm going to end up going and having to listen to the recording anyhow,
Mhm.
to kind of go back. So there's a couple times I have listened to it live, and I'll actually, like, write down the time of, like, oh, this is really valuable information. So that's another thing, is I've actually kind of kept a journal that I think has been helpful, just
Mhm.
because if 3 Zoom calls a week, that starts really piling up over time. So
Mhm.
to easily make a couple notes of, like, hey, I listened to the 313 call, and it was all about this buffalo strategy, right? And then they talked about dolomite, and I can also kind
Mhm.
of timestamp it, so that I quickly know if I need a refresher, or if it's a couple weeks back, that I can instantly just go to where I was
Mhm.
previously had seen the information. Did
Yeah.
I answer your question?
Yeah, you did, because I think the pattern that I see as well, Matt, is the clients who do put in the effort are the ones that typically get the best results. You commit to doing this as a program for yourself, but again, with the clients that I work with, I see those who watch the replays, make notes and make questions and come prepared to next sessions. And I'm sure that was similar for you. You're getting the most out of it because you're putting in the work and you're committing to it. So I definitely agree. The last question I have for you is just around, what would you feel is the biggest thing that you learned from FastTrack? And maybe it's not one thing, maybe it's a combination of things, but yeah, what do you feel has been your biggest takeaway?
Well, I'll answer that. Let me go back and add a caveat on my last answer, because the truth is you guys are, you're like crack, right? Or meth. Pick
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
negative
Pick
drug
your
of
poison.
choice, right? Whatever
Yeah.
you, but the problem is that's the other problem with like, if somebody's gonna sign up for this is not just a like, oh, I'll go through the education, I got it, and peace out. The truth is yeah, I'm going to continue to pay, and I think maybe it'd be important to let people know that, like, hey, listen, you're probably going to keep paying for this ongoing education, because
Hmm.
crypto is so fluid. It's
Hmm.
always moving, and we always need to know, like, where's the newest protocol? Where's stuff going? How are we tweaking stuff and maximizing? And oh, hey, there's a strategy over here, and this one, oh, we're testing it, and is it going to be the golden
Hmm.
goose? No, well, no, now there's a golden goose over. No, this is the best golden goose right now. Then, so the problem is like, if you guys shut down, I'm gonna be thoroughly screwed, right?
Hmm.
Like, so and man, there's a handful of you guys. If you guys ever fire David, like, yeah, if he ever is like, dude, I don't want to educate people anymore, like, there's gonna be a whole community that's gonna mourn the loss of that. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it is about continuing with the education, because there's always new strategies, always thinking of what's next and where's the best yield at.
Yeah.
um and I know that we're not chasing yield, but there's new protocols that are coming on, new chains and new stuff. Okay, so your question was, what did I learn most?
Hmm.
Was that what,
Yeah.
or what was
Yeah.
my
What's the
biggest
biggest
walk
thing you've
away?
learned, or your biggest takeaway, from the FastTrack program?
Yeah, that's a great question. My biggest takeaway, I think it's, again, most people are just holding crypto, right? Just hodling. And at the end of the day, it's like, no, I can be generating fees while still holding, right? I can
Hmm.
be in crypto, which I thoroughly love, but at the same time, instead of just sitting there and the price goes up and price goes down, like, either way, I'm making money. And even when it goes
Hmm.
down, like, now all of a sudden, uh, I'm actually a little bit more excited sometimes when there's dips,
Hmm.
where I wouldn't have been that way before. I think it's like broadened my mind on like finance in general, on the
Hmm.
DeFi space, to how to, again, have our assets working hard for us, opposed to
Hmm.
just sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great takeaway. Absolutely. Because so many people are sitting on, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's they're sitting on a whole bunch of assets they've accumulated, and they don't even realize they could be tapping into extra potential. So I think that's a great takeaway. Um, Matt, I really appreciate you jumping on. I do need to head over to my next session in a moment, but let's keep in touch. I'll drop you an email follow up, and you've been working with Alex, is that right? For
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep in touch. I'll drop you an email follow up in the next couple of days. And yeah, I really appreciate you hopping on here to take a few minutes.
Yeah, and again, I see you all the time. I've never met you in person, but it feels like I know you, because obviously, I watch the content you put out. So, and I appreciate the content you put out. It's solid, and I like your, keeping everybody aware of, where kind of you think different tokens, where their price could go and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
you also keep up the good work, because you're adding value to the whole community as well, and I appreciate
appreciate
that.
it. Yeah. Thank you, my man. Appreciate the kind words. So let's keep in touch. Thank you again for jumping on. And yeah, enjoy your weekend, Matt.
All right, thanks, man. You too.
Awesome.
See
Thank
ya.
you. Cheers.
Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you took some notes. Hope you learned some lessons. If you're interested in working with us, FastTrack is by application only, and we do only allow a limited number of spots per month. It is a true one-on-one program, so our time is limited. If you've got the minimum amount of capital, which you can learn all the details with the link below, and you're super committed to building your DeFi portfolio, then do check out the application. The link will be below. And with that said, I hope to be speaking with you soon. We'll see you there.